Hello everyone, this is Ongolan Mapper on YouTube, and we are back on WICSO episode 8, I believe. And this episode is going to really be different compared to all of the other episodes, just because it's the new age. A major war just happened, borders are messed up, this country's dealing with some rough stuff, and then alliances are going to split up into smaller alliances. So today's just going to be a big, major, just get used to it episode where different countries are going to struggle getting used to their new environment. Now, the Triangle team is fully eradicated. There's no bit of it left. The Swedes are puppeted by the Red team, which the Red team's going to be the leader of this new reformed area of the world. But what we're going to see first is just some normal world border expansion and discovery. Like how we see every episode. Except for last episode. We didn't see anything last episode. Just because there was a major war. But that major war took me like 43 minutes to record. So I hope y'all like it. Why is that? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go on another layer and remove that. But we're going to see our first few landings in Africa. And the Strait of Gibraltar is going to be formed. Just in my WICSO. Now, this country is going to profit a lot off of the Strait of Gibraltar soon. Once colonialism starts up, they should be a major player. If they're still around. Which I think they could be if they align with these guys. I do want to see them be a major colonial power. I know this country is just going to be sort of like a controller in Iberia. This country is going to be keeping peace here, and so is this union, the Balkan Union. So, alliances are going to expand a little bit in the next few episodes. This is my last pre-record of the week, I think, the weekdays. And my fan's going off again. I never can find the perfect time to record with that fan. But hopefully y'all can't hear it. If y'all can, just let me know. I can also check the recordings on my own. I watch all my episodes over. Just let me know in the comments if you can hear it and if it's bad. I can always find a new spot to record if I need to, or something. Hopefully. So it's not on the capital layer. Oh, it was on the major city layer. Then I'ma just... Whoop. I'm sorry about that, guys, but we're seeing major expansions into the African parts of the world. So that's going to honestly kickstart a little bit of colonialism. And maybe some independent nations along the west coast. Not west coast, but northern coast of Africa. Like Egypt, for example. And maybe a African power that's strong enough to avoid colonialism once it hits. I'm honestly excited because this is the age of expansion and exploration. So what we've seen here is just expansions all across this area. This is going to start being the borderline between where we can discover and where we can't. So let's go ahead and cover that back over. But I do think that the age of expansion is going to really start to kickstart some things. I think the Finnish nation could honestly be a major power if they do keep up in colonialism, just a major anti-colonial power, because they won't be able to get no colonial footholds. I know Ireland probably would get a colonial foothold, but it all depends on future world borders. So this country right here is actually doing more prosperous than you'd think. So what we're going to see is the collapse of the Rectangle Alliance for the most part. The Rectangle Alliance is gone. So the Prussian team are going to leave this, and then we're going to see the creation of a holy Germanic team. The Holy Germanic Empire is going to be this hexagon shape. Not hexagon, but diamond shape. And the leader of it's going to be changed. So the strongest member in here right now would probably be the Prussian team, just because they haven't been involved in wars. But that will be easily overturned by this team. Hopefully we can see a balance for power soon. But not many nations are going to join this. I'm gonna change that shape. Me in the future, edit this out. Alright, so what we're going to see here is a Holy Germanic Empire. So this will be the new Square Alliance. It's gonna be the same shape as the Square Alliance, but just know it's different. And their puppet state here is going to join, becoming a sort of puppet state of these two nations and this nation over here. But a few nations join, not many. It's not going to be more of a cluster, nowhere near as much of a cluster as the Holy Roman Empire was in real life. Just a good replacement for our universe's version of it. Every nation in the colonial, not colonial, but Holy Roman-ish, the Holy German Empire, is just gonna compete, sort of like feudalism. Yeah, it is feudalism. Feudalism at its finest. But here we're going to see the discovery of Mesopotamia. Now this is going to be a big part of this, but it's just gonna lead to more discoveries. We ain't gonna see mostly water discoveries, to be honest, that are going to help us out a lot here. The Persian Gulf is going to be partly discovered. Most of it, actually. Causing a little bit of land to be discovered on here. Nothing much. Just the UAE area. Other than that, we don't see much. The Arabian Peninsula is going to be hard to travel, especially for nations that are used to the cold. So what we're going to see is a quick division of Northern Africa. So I'm going to say they get pretty far into the Sahara, at least so they can make a little bit of land claims for a early attempt at colonialism, which will fail. It'll fail a lot quicker than real life colonialism. But this Italian country is going to join the circle team. Now, they've been honestly just trying to find something that would protect them from any other nation. I think joining the circle team would be realistic for any nation like the Italian team. So they're going to be funded by the Greeks and the Russian team. Not Russian team, the Balkan Union. I keep on saying Russian. That's my bad. But the Balkan team is just gonna help out a lot secretly. And majority of their troops are Balkan. I would say that. From the Balkans. Yeah, majority of their troops are from the Balkans. So, this is gonna honestly suck for the Sicily team. They're gonna make naval landings here. I can't see that. Hold up. And it's gonna be brought down a bit here. Oh, I'm just drawing on layer 4. That's useless. That's my bad. I'm gonna have to remove that later. Yeah, because look at layer 4 now. Oh my god, I'm doing it again. But what we see here is complete just slow. This would be a very slow process, maybe taking 10 years with slow military operations on this island. But I do think that they would win. This nation would have no support, and I'm sure its people wouldn't want to stay with their nation that much, to be honest. And then this nation's just gonna want to unify with them. So it's going to be a dual monarchy. So just remember that for later on. So this country is also going to unify with them, forming a tri-monarchy, which is going to suck for the Italian teams that actually want to get stuff done. But Corsica and Sardinia are happy. The Corsica Sardinian team. So they're going to make land claims and landings all across Africa here, Tunisia. Just colonizing what would be Tunisia. Not really colonizing, just taking. It wouldn't be colonizing. It would be too early for colonization, so this would be an official part of our territory. And there's nobody living in here. But we're going to find out that there's going to be some African nations in Africa. They're going to do a lot of expansion. They're going to wrap a little bit above the Caucasus. That would be Crimea, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Crimea just looks weird on this map. I can fix that later on, though. I already fixed the Istanbul area. Or whatever you want to call it. I know it's Istanbul, but it's called a lot of other things. I disagree with name changing like that so many times. Especially when so many people were used to calling it Constantinople. I mean, I get it, they did it for multiple reasons, but still. So here we have Cyprus being discovered, and this is going to be a really big help for the Ottomans. Since the Ottomans aren't going to expand into Africa, they're just going to expand west. Not west, east. So the Greeks are actually going to get land in Africa. It's going to look like that. They're just interested in seeing what's going to happen with this territory. So it's mainly like ports and small towns. There's not going to be many major cities made. And this Portuguese team can't really get on in Africa, so they're just going to have a small claim in Africa. But this is the early colonization type stuff we're going to be seeing. But I think this is going to be a very interesting aspect to explore. But that'll do it for today's video. This is going to be a shorter video. And this is my last pre-record up until Saturday. All my videos that I've been posting are just pre-records from one day. I'm leaving my recording area Wednesday, so everything after that will not be able to be seen by me. But anyways, have a good day and peace out, I guess.